Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. What? No. Hallelujah. Woo. Please, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Close this. Go downstairs. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, I hope y'all have had a blessed day and a blessed week. I am tired. I am extremely tired. It has been an oppressively hot day today. Not only did we hit triple digits, but we hit 10 degrees over triple digits. That was so fun. Let me tell you. Working in that was no fun. It has been blazing. Oh, let me say my Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Brother Frank Stockton, Shabbat Shalom, Brother Frank. Brother Tom Sturgill, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Aspen English, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Ronnie Rayner, Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Love, brother. Brother Chris F., Shabbat Shalom, brother. Best Steph, Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah. I said Sister Aspen. I didn't say Sister Aspen, say it again. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Aspen. Woo! Brother Jay Morris, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Jay. Elk Count, 25, Shabbat Shalom. PP, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Priscilla, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Melvin Gray, Shabbat Shalom, brother. Shabbat Shalom. Yohanatan's house, Shabbat Shalom. Tyreek Simmons, Shabbat Shalom, brother. Shabbat Shalom. See, we didn't get the rain part, though, Brother Ronnie. We got the heat. We didn't get the rain. Oh, I was joking with Brother Ronnie earlier. I said, when it gets this hot, this is like Negro spiritual hot. This is that I was born by a river in a little tent. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It was that hot. It was like Roots hot. Those of you who've seen the movie Roots. It was that hot. And then it was a humid hot, then it was a dry hot. Humid hot, then it was a dry hot. It couldn't make up its mind. I just sweated. That's all I did. Sweat. When I wasn't sweating, I was sweating. I think me and the family went through like 30 gallons of water. Okay. Maybe it's a bit exaggerated. Whoa. Brother Jay Moore said, Brown Sugar T. Robinson, Shabbat Shalom. Jay Moore said, I had to get an IV fluid a few days ago. Lost 24 pounds in sweat that day. My goodness, brother. Yeah, you would need an IV. Goodness gracious. Woo. It's been a high 90s and humid all day, but looks like we're about to get a lot of rain tonight. I mean, I would like a lot of rain tonight. Goodness gracious. This has been one of the driest summers I swear we've gone through. Oh. Don't you hate when you get like 3 flies and they won't leave? They just keep circling you. Oh, House of Maccabee, Shabbat Shalom. So I will not be long today. Well, I will not be long. I don't even have it in me to go long today. Oh, man, Brother Ron, I would love a ton of rain too. Love it. Hallelujah. I know it's coming. The storms are coming. Storms are coming. It's been hot. It has been hot. Woo. Bye, bye, bye. Hope y'all have had a blessed week, a blessed work week. Simple stream today. No pun intended. It's looking really, really simple. And things are, if you've had your eyes open, even if you don't have your eyes open, things are still looking really, really simple. Jasmine said it's getting ready to storm here in North Carolina again tonight. We've been getting them regularly. It's amazing. We've had storms go through uh, south of us, but not the good, not the rain. It's been dry here. I'm afraid my potato crop might be history. Lots of plants yellow now. Same here, Elkown. I had that happen in one year, brother, and I left them in the ground. And then next year when it rained, they all popped up and they took over my garden. So I may just do that again this year. My Jerusalem artichokes are looking rough, but they're a great drought tolerant food that I'm growing. And then I started a ton of amaranth. The sisters have been grinding a lot of amaranth to make different breads, what do you call it, like porridge or breakfast food, and I like it. So we're gonna be growing. I'm starting a lot more amaranth. We're gonna be growing a lot, and that's gonna be one of the things that I want to grow wheat, but I decided I'm gonna grow amaranth because I can eat the greens, and they are extremely drought tolerant, and the seed heads you can use for to grind down into a flour. And the stalks, you can dry them out and feed them. And we have goats, feed them to our goats. So for us, it checks off so many boxes that we're gonna just stick with that. We're just gonna grow a ton of amaranth and call it a day. Hallelujah. And my phone stopped. Brother David, Shabbat Shalom, my beloved brother. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Like I said, we ain't gonna be here very long. It's good to see y'all here. It's good to see my beloved brothers, my wrench crew, the blue wrenches. Wonderful to see my beloved brothers. David, Ron, and Brother Frank. Hallelujah. With lentils growing, I'm growing lentils right now, Brother Chris. I'm growing up, growing lentils right now. And they are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. Hebrew Rapaholic, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Mana Yeshua, Shabbat Shalom. Yes, sir. Lentils grow well here. Beans as a whole will grow really well here. I haven't had much of a problem growing anything that I want to grow here. And I've grown, squashes. I've grown corn one year and cucumbers, berries, bushes, and fruit trees. And of course, I didn't try citrus here. I've grown broccoli. I've grown tons of Swiss chard, collard greens, mustards, all that stuff. God, what haven't I not grown? I've grown kohlrabi. I've grown tons of radishes, bok choy, pak choy, tok soy, mundalini lettuce. Malabar spinach, tomatoes. If it can grow, it'll grow here. Hallelujah. Man, brother David, that's exactly what we're talking about. These garden. I swear, every storm has gone south of us. Every single storm has gone south of us. And then there are some that have gone north, and by the time it gets here, it's dissipated down to a light, like 30-second drizzle. When you're growing to the levels that we are growing, you ain't going out there with no water hose. I depend on rain. Sister asked me, can you send a couple storms this way? Just reflect them back. We can get them, please. Sister Colleen, actually, we have been too. We have been too, like, man. Because obviously, like even our goats, which, they eat the stuff off the land. Well, when you don't get rain, the stuff starts dying back. You start rotating your goats where they go because they cleared everything out in the pen. They cleared everything out in the goat. So now it's like, okay, now I'm gonna rotate them, and usually we get a ton of rain, not a ton, but we'll get 3-4 inches, 2 to 3 inches in June, and then 3 to 4 in July. We usually have a huge rainstorm in July, and we're getting, to the midway point and nothing. That's right, Elk County. Yeah, you're either going to have a long water hose, which I don't want to do. It's not realistic for the amount of gardens that I have to be out there with a water hose. It's just not realistic. Like brother Elk County said, or drip tape, and you're not. It's going to be a lot of drip tape. That's going to be a monstrosity amount of drip tape I would have to use. It would cost me too much money to even consider drip tape. And then it probably wouldn't work the way I wanted it. Farmer's Almanac for next year says it's going to be worse than this year. Here's the problem though. Last year, they said that it wasn't going to be a lot of rain, and we got hit pretty hard last year, and I was very happy with that. This year, it said there was going to be a pretty good amount of rain. I'm starting to get pissed off at Farmer's Almanac. I'm starting to feel like, just like they said last year, there was going to be a huge cold snap, and the winter was going to be terrible. Last winter wasn't that bad for us. This year, they're saying, well, oh, wow, Brother David said, I've had some difficulties even with the drip tape. There you go. There is no surefire way of watering your gardens unless you're going to go with rain. I drove through Central Arkansas a couple times over the past past 2 weeks. I drove a couple times through Central Arkansas, and do you want to know how many fields look like? They look bad. They look bad. A lot of the rice, because a lot of rice, a large majority of this country's rice is grown in Central Arkansas. You're driving and you don't see fields. You don't see the rice growing. It's now, JS Badger, yes sir, yes sir. That's one thing that we decided we were going to do is along with the getting the water out of the ground, obviously, we're going to do considerable rain catchment expansion. Considerable rain catchment expansion. But they say you got to keep the filters clean to ensure the water flows easily through drip tape. God, and that's another issue. Oh God, that's another issue. Man, that's another whole issue. Filtration. God. So Colleen said, here in North Texas, over 40 days of 100 plus heat. Nope, I wouldn't melt. Gardens do better with the rain. They do. They do. My garden shows considerable growth with the rain. Now, again, that's why I like the Jerusalem artichokes. My Jerusalem artichokes probably haven't had rain or watering in 30 days, and they're still doing well. JS Badger, that's the same thing we just experienced right now. We heard the thunder, and then it was gone. It missed us. So I'm just chilling, been praying for it, and there are gardens that are still doing great, and then there are gardens that you're like, ugh. My tomatoes are still doing good. My peppers are still doing good. Jerusalem artichokes are still doing great. My squashes are still doing great. My potatoes, I'm not going to be uprooting very many this year. I'll probably do half the potato area that I planted. Next year, we're actually going to double. I'm going to expand it probably another 3 or 4 rows, and I'm clearing out a whole nother spot for my amaranth and for sweet potatoes. So I'll be taking on a lot of trees next year. And honestly, I did not do a good job preparing my soil this year. Usually, I will cover my gardens with probably 6 to 10 inches of leaves over the course of winter, a late fall, winter, and then early spring. And that adds a lot of absorbency to the soil. So when it does rain, I've had years here where it hadn't rained for 30 days, and I could dig underneath the leaves and the soil was still moist. Well, I didn't do that this year, and I'm paying for it. So I'm going to be going back to that. This next winter, I'm going to be heavily amending the top of my soil with 6 to 10 inches of leaves, compostable material, because it's great when I plant, I just scoop the leaves back. I'll dig a row, plant in the ground, and then let the stuff grow, and then I'll move the leaves back. When maybe after, it depends what I'm growing, but maybe a month after, because if I move it back too early, the roly-polies will eat everything. And they'll hide underneath that layer of leaves and then come out, eat my green beans, cut everything down, chew everything down. Right. Brother, I'm expanding. You know where my house is. So behind the house, I have the potatoes, and behind that, I have my orchard and shooting range. And then the area behind that, I'm clearing that out. I'm doing more. I'm doing more. And that kind of goes along with it's looking really, really simple. This whole thing is not very complicated anymore. It's really not. It doesn't take a genius to see what is going on. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what you should be doing. There's a lot of reports going on right now that all these places that are hiring, I've heard multiple reports. Report number one I heard was all these places that are going to be hiring are not going to be hiring as much anymore because a lot of them are closing, number one. And number two, a lot of them are going to robots. A lot of places are going to robots, even out here. They're going to robots. I mean, go to your local Walmart. I'm on it live. Why you do that? Go to your local Walmart. And how many self-checkout lines compared to the, the employee ring you up? How many self-checkout lines do you see? Just think about it. When you go to your local Walmart, how many self-checkout lines do you see? Brother Frank, that's a great idea. Great idea. Great idea, Brother Frank. Let not one drop go to waste. But your local Walmart, you see a ton of self-checkout lines. At least out here you do. A ton of self-checkout lines and like a couple of registers that are open where somebody's actually scanning your stuff. More, and they have fast food restaurants out here now that have no person at the register. You order your food, and then it goes back to the cook. And the cook, the two people are in the back that are, literally fast food restaurants that are ran by 3 employees, the manager and 2 cooks. One of the cooks makes the order. The other one walks it up to the window or to the person up front and hands it to them. It's changing. It's changing. Brother Melvin, those Walmarts that have those self-driving floor waxers, that stuff is, to me, is amazing. It's like Terminator. I mean, the first time I saw one of those things coming up to me, I was like, nope. Skynet ain't getting me. Oh, Brother Ryan said you order your food at the table with a tablet. See, stuff like that is just beyond. Sister Priscilla, I don't really do fast food. I have not eaten fast food in over 12, 13 years. I haven't eaten fast food in over 12, 13 years. And I haven't had a soda in over 12 years. We have 7 working in our kitchen. See, Kentucky Ryan said you have 7 working in their kitchen. I went to a store and a couple of people were talking, and they were talking about they don't call it Carl Jr. out here. What do they call it? The Yellow Star. Is it Hardee's? I think it's called Hardee's. It's called Hardee's. They were talking about one of the Hardee's that were out here. Well, in the general area out here. And I think it might have been Little Rock that they were talking about. And they had just gone to Little Rock, and they were talking about a Hardee's there, and they were saying that literally there was like 2 employees in the whole store. And the walk-in, they didn't have a walk-in. They did it kind of like Sonics, where you pull in, and then you could pull out your cell phone, and you could type your order on your cell phone, and then they would get it in the store, and then come out to the parking space that you were in. So you put what parking space you're in, and then so parking space 5, I don't know, with the burger with cheese and no pickles and Diet Coke, and throw something out there. And they would just come out to you, and you could pay in the car by just putting your ATM card number in the phone, and then the person would just bring you the food. And they didn't even take cash. And I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. What are you doing? You can pick those. They're eliminating the need for employees. So that's right. Brother David, that's what I said. What I saw, I was like, wait a minute. So there's no need for a person. And their hope is to go completely automated, where they don't even need the workers in the back anymore. They're going to have one person working the store. One person working the whole store. And that's going to be the person that's just there to basically check on the machines, to make sure the machines are running right, and to make sure that there's no discrepancies in what a person ordered. Right. You don't have to pay a robot. You pay that $15,000-$20,000, for that robot or for that piece of equipment, and it works for how long? And all you gotta do, the chain, let's say Burger King, the chain will just hire a mechanic type guy who will just go from store to store, make sure everything's working right, and bam. Right, the pace of these changes are exponential. That is incredible. It is absolutely incredible how fast things are changing. It's incredible. Another thing I heard, that's right, Brother Chris said, that's an annual salary for a fast food worker. But now that machine is going to be working for the next, 5-7 years? Now they have machines that are, a lot of these stores are going, they're trying to become compliant to Biden's cut down on greenhouse emissions and fossil fuels. So they're putting solar panels up to run a lot of this stuff. And I'm just like, this is incredible. The whole world's changing. Pretty soon, I would guess in the next 3 to 5 years, or less, maybe 2 to 3 years. If you have a gas operated car, you may not even be able to find the parts to run a combustion engine unless you go to like a pick apart, because they're changing all of that stuff to electrical, battery operated. So it's just amazing to me. Another thing I heard is if you are in any way attached to the government, and that could be food stamp, that could be Social Security, that could be retirement, that could be getting challenged soon, as far as the amount of money that people are getting from their retirements and things like that. I heard from, I can't say where I heard it from, but that could be something coming around on the horizon also. If you look at how the world's been reacting and acting, when the start of the zombie plague happened, it's like, if this thing is so planned, it is so planned, you can't even believe it. Right at the start of this whole zombie plague thing, when they social distance everybody, people stop coming together. People stop fellowshipping. People stop talking to each other. People just stop interacting with each other, and they social distance everybody. You can't be within 6 feet or 8 feet next to each other. Cut the schools. No going to the grocery stores. You can't, travel and see your friend. There's only a certain amount of people in an area, and we got used to this. We got used to not being around each other. Then after that, they started issuing out stimmy checks. Hey, I'm gonna pay you to stay at home. And the fact that we even have for now hiring scientists is unfathomable, because I would have thought people would have rushed back to work because they're running out of money. But people are not rushing back to work. What people are doing is they're still sitting there saying, I hope Biden passes another whatever that allows me to get another check. And it's not happening. So now they're losing their mind. Now that people are losing their minds, I don't think this thing was, just an accident. I think it was because people are coming out of their social distance life. They don't know how to interact with each other anymore. They don't know how to talk to each other anymore. And now they don't know how to deal with whatever they got going on inside, the demonic manifestations that is happening. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. People, did you see that the Georgia Guidestones got taken down? Somebody blew them up. Don't care. I don't care what happened to the Georgia Guidestones. I know what they say. I've read them. I've done teachings on the Georgia Guidestones. I know exactly what they say. But my question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about, if they decide they want to cull the herd down to 500 million, what are you going to do about it? How many of us are in a position that we could operate outside of the system for 6 months? This is what I mean by it's so simple now. To me, it's very simple. It's food. It's water. It's security. It's the ability to produce. First and foremost, it's Yah and his law and his commandment. It's family. Social distancing was no accident. Divide and conquer. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Amen, Project 5P. preserving a healthy home, I absolutely agree. It was not accidental. They brought people back together, and in the home, mom and daddy are going to come back together. They couldn't stand each other, so they get divorced. But they have adequately divided. See, I said this thing years ago. I said it probably 5 years ago. I said no country would ever have to invade this country. They will never have to invade it. All they have to do is have conditions in here, and the people will fight themselves. It's like a cancer. We will destroy ourselves. That person, the balkanization of the states, the right versus the left, red versus blue, Crips versus Bloods, white versus black, rich versus poor, tall versus short, man versus woman. They've done an excellent job. They don't have to ever worry about sending troops. I remember I used to read blogs 10 years ago. There's going to be blue helmets, and we're going to be shooting the blue helmets. And I was like, even then, I was like, they don't have to worry about sending troops onto the streets. All you have to do is continue the cancer. That's it. As my brother said, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's it. And that's what's happening. People don't like each other. There are people in this faith that will tell you you're going to hell because you're not with them, or that you're not very serious about your faith because you're not with them. It's perfect. The environment right now is perfect for an upheaval. That's right, ISEEU. You got men thinking that they can become women. That's exactly what's happening. So everything's turned upside down now. You got people fighting over, do I have the right to kill my baby? You don't have the right to tell me what to do with my body. I can kill my baby. Literally. So what I do is I'm just sitting here on the sideline. I'm watching. Take them out. I'm sitting here and I'm just watching all this. I'm just like, we don't need to. No country has to invade. It's already imploding. It's already falling apart. We got people sitting on top of roofs who cross-dressed to shoot people at a 4th of July celebration. I don't celebrate 4th of July, but come on now. People have a right to celebrate 4th of July if they want to. I don't, but they have a right to. And this dude's on top of the roof picking people off. And then now it comes into if he hadn't had that gun, then he wouldn't. And they don't understand. The most deadliest, and this is what I see, the most deadliest weapon that I see that is in this country right now is not a firearm. The most deadliest weapon is a vehicle. Not only because we see what they do with vehicles in the Midwest, in the Middle East, not the Midwest, in the Middle East, but a vehicle is a 1-ton, 2-ton, 20-ton battering ram. It can go through a building, and then you can stockpile that vehicle with whatever you want to maximize the amount of carnage that you want to do. And they're going after firearms. JFedge, I've had to beat back my elderberry from growing into my palmetto pear tree, but my elderberries are ridiculously tall, and I'm having that same issue. I'm having that same issue. They have already invaded, just took place in a different form. That's truth. That's truth. When China owns up America's debt, hey, that's already an invasion. He was on his way to kill my people. There is too much going on, and there's too many distractions. But now I've come to understand it. What I've come to understand is it's simple. It's so simple. Sister Tammy Dorsey, you're actually more correct than I am. To me, the most deadliest weapon is propaganda spewed by the media. That's true. That is true. That is absolutely true. Goodness gracious. You know what? That comment supersedes mine. Bam. Right there. Convincing the people. There's a county out here in the Ozark County, in fact, and they said that the police chief or the sheriff said that unless it's a violent misdemeanor or felony, if you call the cops, they ain't coming. And if you want to know where that county is, that's, I believe, near Gainesville, around Gainesville, Missouri, that area, I believe. They said, we ain't coming out. We're not even going to be handing out speeding tickets. Why? Because fuel costs money. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You call the cops and they don't show. And see, that's coming. There it is. There it is, J.S. Badger, Sheriff of Ozark County. That's coming to a larger city near you. That's coming to these larger areas. I have friends that have decided to go into law enforcement. And a lot of them are telling me they want to get out. They want to get out of law enforcement because there's no benefit to it anymore. They're not doing anything. So just imagine a city. Imagine a city of 100,000 people, and that happens. They say, you know what? We're not, unless it's a violent crime, we're not coming out. Understand, if someone robs you, they ain't coming. But if someone robs you and you kill them, they are coming. That's exactly it, brother. Because that would be a violent interaction. They're coming out for that, and other services will follow suit. It won't only be sheriff offices. It won't. It's going to be fire. It'll be EMS. There's going to be more things affected by this. You know, EMS, it's all about driving. I would never call the sheriff anyways. I would handle my own problems. Kentucky ready? I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. But just imagine the amount of people that are reliant on this. Imagine you're an old woman now in your house. Imagine you're a single woman in your house and you hear that knock in the night. And you're used to just, okay, I'm gonna hop on my phone, I'm gonna call, you hear someone rummaging around in your shed, and you call, and they say, well, has the person hurt you? Are you threatened? No. We'll call our line, and then we'll have an officer take a over the phone report. What over the phone report on what? He's still in the shed. Well, are you harmed, or is he threatening you, or? Well, I can see he's taking my stuff and currently walking off my property. Well, that's what you know what he looks like, how tall he is. Well, we will do that. We'll handle it when we can afford fuel. We'll handle it. Well, see, when these places say we're not writing tickets, that's baffling, because tickets, when they write them, that's where some income comes from. Missouri, you have to give them the right to run away. It's law here. I did not know that, Sister Priscilla. I did not know that until I took my concealed carry class. And they said that in Missouri, you do have to give the person the right to run away. And I was like, what? You have to give the person the right to run away before you, and then he has to. I was like, oh, God. Eesh. What happens when the ambulance doesn't have fuel? Brother? What happens when the fire truck can't get out there? You know, your local volunteer county fire. You know, when you're in these small areas, they don't have fire departments. We have volunteer fire departments out here. They don't get fuel either. It's all going down. And it's honestly not only about the price of fuel. Really, what they're saying without saying is that their budget's resources are drying up. That's exactly it. That's exactly what they're basically saying, like, hey, the money that we get in, it's not coming in. It's not just the prices are rising. It's that we're not getting what we normally get. Woo! Wow. ISEU said the cops came to my house and they told me they don't do social cause anymore. Either they're coming to kill or arrest. Yee. God. That's what we have out here since the call in the volunteer fire department. But if there's no fuel, it's getting bad. So to me, it's pretty simple. 1 + 1 = 2. Dope law, Shabbat Shalom. 1 + 1 = 2. So if 1 + 1 = 2, right now, all you have to do is, what do you see? What do you see? What's happening? And what can you do about it? That's the only thing that there is to talk about. All this other convincing people, that time is over. For those that don't have the money to make the move, the reality of it is where's the money going to come from to make these moves? There used to be a time, I did it, where I came out here and I didn't have to make $25, $30 an hour. I was able to do it on what I was making at the hospital, which was under $15 an hour. You're not doing that now. You are not doing that now. You are not doing this whole homestead dream if you haven't already gotten started under $15 an hour. That's the reality. That's exactly. L. Count said it right there. Let me read that comment. Stay home and garden and stack supplies you need. That really is the only option you have right now. You stay home, you minimize the amount of time you have to be out. That's what I've been doing. I minimize the amount of time that I have to leave the property. You garden and you start stacking supplies that you need or that you might need. Here's something that I did. I went to Walmart and I bought oil change, the filter and oil. I did this 3 days ago for every one of my vehicles for 2 oil changes. Now I just changed the oil on it, but I can change it 2 more times because I have the oil and I have the filters put aside. Why? How many of you have gone to the your local Walmart and AutoZone and where's the motor oil? Where's the motor oil? Stop. I found that absolutely amazing. You go to the store, you look for the motor oil, and it's just not there. Hurry up and get him together, please. As Brother Ryan said, if you don't have the money, you won't make the move. Absolutely right. If you don't have the money, you can't make the move. The way it is right now is you are going to be paying rent, and they're slowly creeping rent prices up, energy prices up. You know, it's one of those things that we've talked about on this channel, on the Disturbance of Visual channel. We've talked about the idea of at some point in time, the door closes, and the opportunities to do what you want to do aren't going to be there. The opportunity to make the moves that you want to make are not going to be there. So now, if you haven't made the move, I mean, banks are loaning out money left and right. But what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, and these are some terrible loans. Terrible loans. I think it was Southern Prepper One. He's one of the guys. I like his boots on the ground. I love his boots on the ground series. He was talking about one of his boots on the ground. Somebody got a loan for a house, and they were paying like 19%. 19% for their loan on the house. Chicken feed. I was looking at the round bales of hay, the big ones. I was buying them before the zombie plague, $35. Now they're $90. $90 for a mixed round bale of hay. $90 for a mixed bale of hay. I was buying was it alfalfa? No, Bermuda. Alfalfa. It was alfalfa. Was it alfalfa? Was it Bermuda? Yeah. Bermuda for about $35. $90 for a mixed bale? Jay Morris, yes. I could see debtor's prison. I go both ways on that. I could see it, but then I could possibly not see it. What I could see is, and what we're going to see guaranteed, is a booming homeless population. A booming homeless. I get pictures from brothers who still live near large cities. They go, or they work in a large city, and they're sending me pictures of these, I guess you call them communities of homeless people. They're taking over beaches now. They're taking over freeway underpasses. They're taking that area when you come onto the freeway. They're taking over everything. What, Jay Morris? 200 a ton? What? That's crazy, because out here, our average, our bales can weigh, it depends when they're wet or dry. They can go anywhere between 500 to 800 pounds. God. Yes, that's that's what I was gonna say. They have to put everybody in prison. I do believe, though, what is, a lot of people are about to be priced out of living, and when people are priced out of living, and now they have nothing. What are they going to do? We know what they're going to do. So it's simple. What are we going to do? Our choices have become very, very narrow for the large majority of us. And it doesn't matter if you have money. You know, you can have money to go and get the things that you need. The reality of it is, I went to Walmart and they had the top ramen aisle. Almost half the aisle was top ramen. Then they had top ramen on the end cap. What else did they have? Ebony. We went and saw Ebony. We were at Walmart. What are the things that they had on the end cap? So we were like, they don't usually have those on the end cap. That sugar, barbecue sauce, ketchup, they had something else. I was like, what? Why would they put this here? Flour. They had flour, bags of flour, the big 25-pound bags of flour, just stacked up all the way up the end cap. And I was like, what the hell? They don't use, being someone that worked at Walmart and knows the inner workings of that, they don't do that. They don't put it on the end cap and then put it on the aisle and take up half the aisle of flour, of sugar. So now what? Sister Priscilla, a lot of people are moving back home. There are a lot of people who are moving back home. Hewitt Homestead, Shabbat Shalom. It's the first time I've seen your name. Welcome to the channel. I am honored. I am honored. There it is, Brother David. No one will be forced. They will be caused to comply, i.e. take the mark. The causing is in progress, one step at a time. That's the truth. It's not going to be a forcing. They're not going to hold a gun to your head. They're going to cause people to take the mark. And it's slowly moving that way. It is slowly moving that way. One of the there's a store that, because people were stealing the cheese. I just saw your comment, ISEEU. They were stealing the cheese, so they put those anti-theft devices on their blocks of cheese. Cheese, everybody. So to me, it's really simple. If you're a brother and you are by yourself, or you have a family, I've said this before. I lived in a city, or I lived near a city. One of the first things that I would do is I would communicate. Brother Gary Bromlin, bless you, brother. Shabbat Shalom. Brother David was just saying that. It's not slow anymore. It's fast. That snowball, if you've been on this channel any amount of time, you've heard me mention many times that years ago, that snowball is getting bigger and bigger, and it's becoming unstoppable. It's getting too big, and it's going downhill too fast, and now that snowball has turned into an avalanche. And the only thing that you can do is to get out of the way of the avalanche. You can't stop it. It doesn't matter how many of us band together. It doesn't matter if you have a whole nation band together. You can't stop what's coming. The only thing that we can do is get out of the way of the avalanche, because it's going to swallow everybody up. It's what I know brothers are talking about. They can't just think about this. And I was thinking about this. This is why I'm growing Amaranth and growing a ton of it next year. The place that he buys his chicken feed ran out of chicken feed. And I thought about that before, but I never really thought about it hard. Like, what would that look like to run out of chicken feed? How would that affect you? Are you actually capable of producing all of your feed? ISEEU, that's a great, yes. Especially when you rely on the eggs. Do we have options, or do we have answers for that? So to me, it was simple. I'm stockpiling, and I got to find something that my chickens can eat. Now, I can free range them here all day long. But the problem with living out here is that you free range them, and then your flock of 150 is now 100, and then your flock of 100 is now 25, because we have so many things out here that love chicken. Yes, it's the after they can. They eat oats. Yes. They eat oats. But that is why I decided I'm going to grow a ton of Amaranth. I'm growing a ton of Amaranth, and actually, I learned this from another brother online. I have a bucket. I drill some holes in my bucket. I put any chicken remnants, anything that will attract flies. The flies go in there. They lay their larvae, and then they have maggots, and the maggots will grow and eat and eat and eat, and then they'll fall out of the sides of the bucket of the holes that I drilled in them, and it rains down maggots for my chickens, and my chickens can eat maggots. And it's chicken feed. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of maggots. So that's one thing that I've been working on. I've been working on systems to try and feed my animals, because to me it's simple. It's so simple. The answer is you have to store it and you have to produce it. And if you're not storing it and producing it, you're in trouble. You have to be able to produce compost and animal fodder. Not an easy task by any means. Not at all, especially if you're running cows, if you're running goats, if you're running a large consumer. If you're running rabbits, well, then do you have what rabbits eat? Oh, yes. Brother Chris F., yes. I'm gonna be honest with you, brother Chris F., that is the finest round in the world. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. And that finest round goes to the finest weapon. So that's just my opinion. So I know we have some 5.56 and 2.23 people in here, and I love that round too. I shoot that one also, but oh gosh, nothing like a AK-47. Oh, okay, I'm back. There's just a lot that is going on, and the answers are simpler and simpler. I have cats. I have cats. I have tons. Well, I have 5, because one of my brother Jerry, Shabbat Shalom, brother. Shabbat Shalom, brother Jerry. I have mice, and my mice went through one of my vehicles and decided that they were going to eat up my wiring. Guess what I've been doing? I've had to rewire. You know what it's like to try and turn on your headlights and they don't come on, or your blinkers, they don't come on either, front or back. And you pull off the front grill and your lights fall out, or you see the wires hanging. Ugh. frustrating. And you can hear the chicks in the background. You know, we got more chickens. You were here last week. You heard that these are what are these? Thank you, Putty. My youngest daughter's over here like, aren't they these, Daddy? We have black Jersey Giants, white Jersey Giants, foghorn leghorns. Yes, I'm gonna call them foghorn leghorns, and Sussex. But you know, so I'm breeding the large, meaty birds that are still good layers, the Jersey Giants, with all my flocks to get a dual-purpose bird because I ain't got no time to play. I have no time to play. In fact, none of us do. We have no time to be playing with what is going on. There's a lot of people playing. There's a lot of people still going out and eating. And if you can afford it, hallelujah. If they can afford to eat out, praise Yah. That is awesome that they get to go out and eat and enjoy. I've been doing the exact opposite. We've been cutting back. We've been cutting back a lot. Because to me, it's very, very simple. And the simplicity is if you don't have food, you don't have water, you don't have protection. And I mean, not just having your, you know, Glock 19 or your AR-15 or your, you know, whatever you're carrying, whatever 308 variant you're carrying, whatever 300 blackout variant you're carrying, whatever 5.7 variant you're shooting, whatever, you know, those fancy rounds, you know, 224, whatever crazy variant you are shooting, you better be trained with that variant. And I'm talking about right now, us men, we have to have a warrior mindset. Stony Island, I didn't know you were in Ozarks. Huh. We have to have a warrior's mindset. You know, in the Bible, you know, it talks about, you know, when Israel goes to war, if you're afraid, stay back. You know, tend to the vineyards. And the reason is that we don't want people that are scared on the front lines, because that fear is contagious. You'll start scaring everybody else around you. We have to have a lot more men that are willing to stand up. And I'm not just talking about the training stand up. You know, we train. No, I'm talking about you have to be really ready to stand up. We don't have as many warrior mindseted people as we think we do. We have a lot of talkers, but we don't have the warrior mindseted people. I reload 38 I love 38. Oh yeah, you reload 38 calibers, not the 38 caliber, 38 calibers. God, a lot of brass. It's a lot of brass. But this thing, you can do all the training you want to. Shooting at a silhouette or at a metal gong is a lot different than when people are shooting back at you. Just saying. That training is way different. You know, just living where I've lived in my life, there's a difference between bang and it's because you pulled the trigger and bang because somebody else pulled the trigger. Different bangs. And the person that pulled the trigger, bang, is they have their barrel pointed in your direction. And their hope is not to scare you. They're not trying to shoot you in the leg. At least so famously here. Somebody's coming at you. Why don't you just shoot in the leg? They're trying to take your life. And that mindset, that warrior's mindset is lost. Because I'm not talking about a warrior mindset because you're in a group. I'm talking about that warrior mindset has to be there when you're by yourself. It's easy to have that warrior's mindset when you are a bunch of other people. Just like it's easy to be a gang member when you have a bunch of other people with you. No, that's right, Palmetto Paratroop. You don't. But what about what can you do by yourself, brothers? And I mean, if you're out and something happens, because I know, and I talk to many people about this. I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people because a lot of people want to hear my perspective on things because they say your perspective is a lot different, and I know you have training that you don't talk about. Yes, I do. I don't talk about it. But here's one thing I say. For instance, we're having a lot of active shooters today. We also have a lot of John Rambo. Let me tell you something. In a shooting situation, I know a lot of people have this. I'm going to go and engage the person. I'm at Walmart, and if I hear bang, bang, I'm engaging the situation. I'm going to tell you something that many people aren't going to like. You want to know what my job is? See, I've actually identified how I'm going to respond to certain things so that I know how to respond. In a situation like that, I'm finding the nearest exit, and I'm getting out of there. Man, Brother David, that's a whole nother conversation. Brother, woo! That's a whole nother conversation because I don't believe in this whole battlefield pickup idea. That crap we've gotten from playing too much Call of Duty. I'm going to get in a shootout with somebody, and then after I put him down, I'm going to go and grab his firearm, and then his ammo just going to appear in my... Woo! Looks a lot different when you're in a more civilized area. A lot different. So my job is to get out. My job is to get back home to my family. My job is not to play hero. I'm not G.I. Joe. I'm not Kurt Norris. I know rounds go both ways. I know that most things in grocery stores are simply concealment. They are not covered. Right. That's my first idea is I want to fight a battle on my terms. I want to fight a battle on my terms. I don't want to be the guy exchanging fire. I'm just gonna keep it real. Since we're all brothers in here, I'm gonna keep this shit real. I don't want to be the person trying to engage with somebody else. Okay? See, I think about this sort of stuff. Active shooter. Okay? Half the people in the store, all they hear is bang, 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 bang. They don't know who the shooter is. Out comes Chris with his pistol, trying to engage. So when people leave and the cops show up, they tell the cops, I saw a 6'3.5", 6'4" black guy with a rubber band in his hair, bald head with a gun. I'm trying to engage the shooter. All they're going to tell the cops is a 6'4" black guy with a gun. I'm sorry if this is not politically correct. I'm not going to say a 6'4" guy who was of a darker complexion. He could have been considered from the land of gold and silver. You know where the Garden of Eden was located? They're not going to say that. They're going to say black guy. So now what happens? Now when the cops come in, they don't see the other shooter. They see me. They see me with the firearm. Are they going to ask questions? Are they going to say, drop it, bang? It's going to be a drop it, and as soon as they say drop it, there's going to be rounds being exchanged in my direction. And hey, it's great that they're going to say sorry. It's great that my family may even get some money out of it. Maybe. You know what's not fine? You think how you think they're going to feel that I lost my life trying to protect a bunch of people who, on accident, gave the wrong description? See, I think about this sort of stuff. And that's why I said my job is to get out of there and get home. Get home to my family. Sister Tammy Dorsey said, it happened to a man with a gun. It's happened before to an Alabama man 2 years ago. See what I mean? Sister Colleen said, who you think they will come for. Right. Right. Warriors die as well. Then where does that leave your family? Just food for thought. I say that to say, even knowing how to rain down the gate when necessary, crap happens and warriors get buried as well. I was reading Story of Maccabees, and Maccabees were fighting, and one of the enemies had an elephant. They had large elephants that they were fighting the Hebraic people with. And one of the warriors had a zealous spirit and went and killed one of the elephants. And he killed the elephant landed on him and he died. Warriors die. Warriors die. And Brother Ryan said the cops are going to shoot the first person they see with a gun, especially the way they're trigger happy today. They're scared today. There are people gunning for cops, gunning for them. In my hometown, well, not my hometown, but where I lived in California, Riverside, you can look it up on the news, Riverside, California. Somebody drove by a police station. They showed the guy driving by the police station, dumping a couple of rounds through the police station doors and driving off. So I know how to deploy war when need be. I also know that my family needs me here. Oh, Stony Island. Woo! See, that's next level stuff right there, brother. More importantly, your family needs to know what the plan is in case you get into a shooting. Very important. Oh, best step. You were born in River and raised in Riverside also? Inland Empire. Yes, ma'am. I mean, how many of us have a plan for our family if something goes down like that? So I think that for us men, I mean, if you want to be a hero and G.I. Joe and all, hey, more power to you. That may be what you're called to do. Me? Brother Chris, you said it right there. Bunch of people would just throw you under the bus anyway. Right. Yeah, I saw him. He shot that woman over there. I mean, I was just exchanging gunfire with the guy who was killing innocent people. My job is to get home. No, I mean, to me, it's simple. This whole thing is becoming more and more narrow, and my sight is becoming more and more focused. All right, get some food. Got some food? Make sure my family's taken care of. Make sure my family has a plan. Start securing things that I have in and around the property, the homestead, relationships you have with other people, other brothers, other sisters, secure those relationships. This getting bad. Elcap said, oh, ISEU, you were born and raised in LA? I used to spend a lot of time in LA, the Garment District, South Central. Tanisha's from, her family's from the jungles in LA. The Elcap said, repeat after me. Stay home. That's my plan. Stay home. Stay home. Go out if you need to. You know, when I leave the house and I kiss my family goodbye, I oftentimes say, and I thank the Father that I'm going only places that I need to go. But I always wonder, what if you leave? And I mean, I live on a county road. It's a pretty scary county road. It's a pretty scary county road. There's a lot of dips and turns and ups and downs and everything like that. Oh, you grew up in Chino, Chris F. Chino, Pomona, I know that area. Ontario, I know that area. Well, brother Kentucky Ray said, I will die at home on a large pile of empty brass. My plan is not to be wasting my life out here either. It's just not. It's simple. And I think we have to really simplify our lives right now. All that extra stuff you spend money on, simplify it. All that extra stuff you buy, simplify it. All those extra places you go to, you have to understand the more you're out and away from home, the higher the probability. Even if it raises the probability from 0.2% to 5%, that's a high probability. There's a much higher probability that you're going to be harmed off your property, off your homestead, away from your house, than you will be in your house. So you got to take that into consideration. I'm not going anywhere but to pick up preps. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. We don't spontaneously go anywhere. We plan where we're going, and that's it. What if we had to leave our house? Well, Sister Priscilla, I've watched a lot of videos. I spent some time watching videos on YouTube. I see the people with their everyday carry loadouts or other stuff, and I don't subscribe to any of that. My idea in a EDC is you have your firearm, your wallet, your pocket knife. I'm not the guy that's going to be carrying a flashlight and a lighter, and I don't carry all that stuff. I want to be light. That's what I've learned in living in these areas, what I've learned in being in fights in the streets, is that I want to be light. I know guys that carry 2 firearms on themselves. When most engagements happen, especially the way it's happening now, especially since the emergence of that whole knockout game, what people do is they watch. They watch for a victim. Now, do you honestly believe I want to get cold cocked or get in a tussle with somebody, and now we're chest to chest, and there's a lot of this grappling and all that going on, and he feels that I have multiple firearms on me? He's going for one of them. I thought about that. I've fallen before in fights. There's nothing like falling on the edge of something that is in your pocket and it just jabbed into your thigh, and now you got a key sticking halfway in your leg. I've had those things happen to me. It's not comfortable, needless to say. So I've picked and planned what I'm going to have on me. When 7 feet or less engagement distances are the norm. There you go, Brother Gary. That metal paratrooper, me too. I mean, I have that thing you just mentioned. I have soft form that I could wear under this T-shirt, and I have the plate. But I'm always concerned of I want to be light and mobile. That's my advantage. In a fist fight, in a hand-to-hand combat situation, I do not want to be loaded down because I got 25 or even 10 pounds of gear on my pants. That's terrible. I do not want to have 10 pounds of gear in between my waist and my knees if I don't have on a typical everyday departure. I want to be light. That's where I have found my advantage. So I think about these things. So if you were a sister and you're leaving your property, I would say this. If you're a sister leaving your property, I would not leave. This is my personal opinion. Obviously look at the what part of shoot, move, and communicate talks about body armor. Especially out at, never mind. I can do a whole series on that. It's just from my perspective. Just my perspective of how I see things in a more realistic atmosphere like this. We're not in Afghanistan. We're not in Iraq. We're not in Vietnam. We're on the streets of this country, the streets of America. I'm more interested in the possibility that I may have to hop a fence. Nothing like trying to hop a fence and getting hung up because you have your 15th rifle hanging off. Never mind. You want to carry your keys around your neck, or have those big, like some people have those keychains with that retractable zip, I don't know, cord. I'm like, if I get hold of that cord, you're finished. If I get hold of that cord, you are finished. Because now I have something I can control your body. If I can get to your belt, you're in trouble. Brother Ken, that's my logic. You don't need a flashlight if you're carrying a phone. People say, well, you should have a lighter on you. And I'm like, why? Because when did you ever start a fire? Well, that's why I keep a lighter in my car. And just I don't ever see myself needing to light a fire in Walmart. I knew you can. I'm just saying. I truly thought about the things that I was going to carry on me. That's true, Palmetto. That's true. That's true. It's just it's the things that we have to think about. Oh, ASA about sister leaving the property. Thank you. Now I'll say this first. Also, Walmart sells lighters. ASA, I'm gonna finish that thought. I just want to say this real quick. I have a car kit. I'm never in a position that I am 15 miles away from my car. Because first of all, how did I get 15 miles away from my car? So usually when I park my car, I go to the same regular stores. I park in the same aisle. I know where my vehicle is. So if I don't have a lighter on me, I'll just go to my car and get a lighter. Or as Brother J-Boy, I'll just go to Walmart and buy one for $2, an 8-pack. So it's just a lot of people carry this stuff because it's really cool to do a YouTube video showing that you've got 18 pounds of gear on just for you to go to the grocery store. I mean, some of these guys need a backpack. I mean, literally, some of these guys, there are people out there that carry they carry a Ziploc bags in their pocket because you never know when you may have to use a Ziploc bag. I'm like, wait a minute. A Ziploc bag? You're carrying 4 of them. Where are you going? Chicago? There it is. Brother Ken, that's what I do. I keep that gear in the car. When I'm in the store, light, mobile. Light, mobile. Light, mobile. I want to be able to, and I train things like run up to a fence and jump over it. Light, mobile. That's my concern. There are guys that carry granola bars in their pocket. I'm like, is your jean pocket your bug out bag? What is going on? Maybe I'll do a video on that. Because I believe I have a much more rational approach on what I carry. For the reason I'm carrying it, my job is to get back to my car. My job is not to fight the invading Russian army, and then I'm not being dropped off in Naked and Afraid. This is not an episode of Naked and Afraid. See, ISEU, I was near LA when the riots happened. El Cal said, "Stay home." And every day carries a garden. What El Count is trying to say is, stay home, everybody. Brother Chris F, that's me. A pistol and a good pocket knife, I'm set. And when I say good pocket knife, one that I keep sharp. Because there are guys that advertise these $60, $80, $100 everyday carry knives. I'm like, I just need a knife to cut. That's it. I need my knife to cut. I don't need my knife to have a can opener on it. I'm not opening up any cans of chili mac. I want something light. Ugh. You planning on a company of NPKA fast roping into your mall? Right. I don't understand it, but yet it's really nice. You know, people like to show those videos on YouTube, and everybody, you know, likes to, I guess. I guess. I mean, even though, you know, I'm not saying much, but I'm going to go back and answer the question. But even people's patrol packs, I'm like, you're not patrolling in Afghanistan. Gosh. Fast and mobile. That's it. And as Brother David said, I ain't scared, but I want to live a quiet and peaceable life. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I live a quiet and peaceable life. Yeah. Oh, and Brother David is speaking truth right here. And I speak the way I do because I often see vets mistake what this battlefield would look like. That's a great point, Brother David. I think a lot of people think that this is going to be like it was fighting in Afghanistan. You're going to have resupply, that everybody's in tip-top shape. You've been training. You have been keeping up with your PT. You look just like you did when you were 19, 20, 25 years old. You can do the same things. This is different. First of all, people are different. I mean, can you even identify who the person is that is your enemy? A lot of people discuss about it. Just living on the streets taught me that. Can you identify which person is the one that's going to try and shoot at you and which one's the one that just watches you? No. Right. Resupply, medevac, funded MREs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ugh. I'm sorry. It's one of my pet peeves when I see people talk about this sort of stuff, and they talk about it as if they're going to have resupply, as if the people that are part of their group are like the most proficient ex-Delta Force, ex-Ranger, ex-SEAL, when most of them work in supply. And I agree with that. The best fight is the one avoided. I try to avoid them because, as Marshawn Lynch said for the Seattle Seahawks, oh, I know I'm going to get got, but I'm going to get mine more than I get got, though. When you are in that situation, you're going to get got. Live our Ken. Most don't realize it takes 4 supply guys to keep 1 gunfighter in the field. Everybody believes that they are the newest guerrilla fighter. People think that that they understand guerrilla warfare in a first world nation. I'm sorry, your name is not Abdul Akbar. Your name is John. Stop it. But for the sisters, ASA. First of all, I don't let them leave unless I'm with them. That's one of the things that I just learned. I do not let them leave unless I'm with them. Now, if they have to go and you're not with them, I always tell them, before you go to a place, identify the exits. When you park, look at where you park. If it's one of those stores that has the letters, identify which letter you're in. Know where you park. When you enter into the store, your cell phone does not come out unless you have to make an emergency phone call. Do not be on your phone in a store. That does not happen. But literally, mine don't go to the store unless I'm with them. Do not pick up your phone. If you have a text message, wait till you get out of the store, have the stuff in the car, the door's locked, then you can check your phone, because it might be me, and I might be saying, hey, no, actually, it's not me because I'm with you. Shalom, Brother Alex. Do not check your phone. Brother Gary, I can't tell you. When I went out with Sister Ebony, I'll point out, like, this lady right here has a child in her cart. She is 10 feet from her cart, looking at the shelf while her child is in the cart playing on a tablet. Does anybody not see the problem here? Does anybody not see the problem here? That's a problem. But if I walk by her, she'll make sure she has her purse, but leave her child in the car. I've seen that. I'll walk by and she'll grab her purse and tell little Johnny she's gonna go over. I'm like, wait a minute, you left little Johnny, but you clutched your purse. What? Watch your six. I explain to them what that means. There's another one, ISEEU. That's another big one. Don't take the children to the store. Unless I'm there, the children won't come. And when I mean by children, because I have so many of them, I'll take one. That's right, Sister Priscilla. I like watching people. I've acquired that skill over. Actually, I've had that skill for a while. That's it. That's exactly. I was about to say that, Brother Ronnie. I will see children walking around, and the parent doesn't even know where the child is. The child is behind the parent, walking. I'm just like, oh God, damn. Woman's on the phone, talking to her friend, gabbing. The child, when we're in the store, the woman is in front of me. Whatever sister I bring, you're in front of me. I'm watching six, you're watching front. Simple. We don't split up. I don't send her to the diaper section. Well, we don't use diapers. I don't send her to the cheese while I go get the potatoes. See, a lot of people are not aware of the things that I know and the things that I know can happen. Sister Acid put one up there. A dangerous time, very dangerous time, when you put your stuff in your car. Now, you know what? Let's play a little a scenario. See, I'm watching you now. Okay, sisters, I'm watching you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for. Don't ask me how I know this stuff. Not everybody was a good guy at one point in time. Some people might have been on the other end. So I'm watching you. I'm watching you around the grocery store. I've noticed you're not watching what's going on around you. Okay? That's exactly it, Brother David. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. I'm security. She's shopping. That's really what it is. I'm security. She's shopping. She knows, a lot of other stuff. Now, usually I was go out by myself. And then I'll call them and be like, okay, what kind of creamer or not creamer, I don't drink coffee. What kind of, teriyaki sauce did you want? There you go. I'll get it. But I'm watching you now, sister. You got your purse. You got your nice, eloquent skirt, head covering, your shirt, whatever you got on. And you've been going shopping, and I watched you go shopping. I'm watching you fill up your cart, which tells me, let me ask, if you're filling up your cart and your cart is pretty damn full, what is the first thing that tells me? You can't answer the question. Sisters, what is the first thing that tells me? You are filling up your cart. There it is. I am Alexa Foster. You got some money. That means some money on you. Whether that's cash, card, food stamps, you got money. Now, you've done your shopping. You go into the register. I'm smart. I might get in the register next to you, especially if you use self-checkout. If you're a sister, I do not recommend using self-checkout because your focus is grabbing and scanning. You have no idea what's going on around you. If somebody else is scanning your thing, you can still maintain a level of situational awareness because they're scanning it. If you're scanning it, your focus is looking at the price, the item, especially if you got that thing on sale, you want to make sure you got the sale price right. You put it in your bag, you're bagging it, you're double bagging it. Your focus, you're not, you have no clue I'm sitting behind you, watching you. See, I'm watching, I look at your clothes. I see you have a very nice bracelet on. I see you have the new iPhone watch on your wrist, and you keep checking it. So you might have some money on you. Now, after you checked out, I watched. Did you pull out a card? You pull out a card, and it don't look like an EBT card. That means you got some money in the account. Now, the last thing I have to ascertain is what kind of car you drive, because that determines what my next move is. If you have a nice car that you walk out to, I might just follow you home. That's exactly it, Brother Ronnie. And Brother Ronnie, I was going to say that because a lot of these systems today, a lot of you have that self-start car. You walk to the car, beep, especially in summertime. The best time to get after you is summertime. Why? Because you are trying to get your car cooled down because your car was just sitting out there in the heat. So you want to start your car and get the air conditioning rolling first. So you can come into a cool car, right? So you hit that other button, whoop, and that trunk opens up. Very nice. I'm looking at it, man. She's driving a 2021 Tahoe. Everything's automated. You put your groceries in the car, beep, you hit that button, you turn around, and you walk to your to put the basket away. But your car's running. Your car's running. I could just jump in your car now. I witnessed people filling up their gas tank with their car running. Someone jumps in and drives off. Witnessed it. So here you are, and you have your car started, which I could jump in and steal it, or you get in your car, and because sometimes people, they don't really think. You want to go shopping at night. You for some reason you park in the area where there is no lighting because it's the most convenient. I can walk up to your car and say, hey, if you scream, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna scream? You're done. And I'm presenting it this way because you can have a firearm on you. You can have a knife on you. You can have a pepper spray on you or bear spray on you. You can have a taser on you. That doesn't mean anything to a person that's going to rob you, just so you know. Now you're in your car. Car's running. Air conditioning's on. You're going to sit there for a little bit, right? Or you're going to drive home. You have no idea that I'm following you. No idea that I'm following you. You pull up in your driveway. I pull up across the street. You pop open your garage door, pull the car, or you pull up in the driveway. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I'm trying to present, Paramount Paratrooper. No matter what you have, because you have no situational awareness, I got to jump on you. I had to jump on you. What are you going to do? Nothing. Nothing. That's right, Brother Ronnie. And a man's going to overpower a woman. And I'm specifically using myself because I'm about 6'3", 258, 9 pounds. I train, I run, I work out. You're not going to overpower me. There's a high probability that if you pull your taser out, I'm going to end up having it. If you try to spray me with mace or pepper spray, you're not going to deploy it right, and you're going to blind yourself along with me. Well, guess what? I'm a criminal, so I'm used to being pepper sprayed. So all you're going to do is incapacitate yourself. You can't see. I'm presenting this because this is one of the ways that a thief is going to think. This is one of the ways a rapist, a person who's going to cause you harm, is going to think. There are interviews on the internet where you can listen to guys who have done these things tell the story and how they got the jump and what they did. I'm just telling you what one of these guys said. And you have no clue what's happening around you. You have no clue. Brothers, you buy your wife a firearm, take her to the range and have her shoot it 3 times because you want to show off and so that you can hit a 3-inch gong from 15 feet. So impressive. Well, she's the one who needs the firearm. The criminal always has the advantage because they already know when and where they will strike. It's always more difficult to respond timely enough. And what that would show you, sisters, is being alone in public is just not the thing to do. As a man in public, I am always scanning. Always. When I'm driving, I'm looking at who's following in my rearview mirror. And I'm looking at how far he's been following. And if I get any suspicion, I may just pull off on the side of the road for a second. So what are you going to do? These are the things that we got to start thinking about because the world's getting worse. Man, Brother Ronnie, I stay scanning. My eyes are always moving. I have a retention holster, and it scares the crap out of me. I don't know if I can fat finger that button quick enough when the time occurs. That's right. Oh, man, that's right. Oh, man, that's right. I'm always wiped out when we return because I'm constantly engaged when I'm out. That's enough, brother. That's huge. When I go out to the stores, Ebony, when we go shopping, am I not exhausted when I return? When I go shopping, I'm exhausted when I come back because you feel like you're out of place. You're like, gosh, I'm always constantly looking. I'm looking at that person because I'm looking at that person. I'm scanning that person. Why is that person getting behind me? Why is that person? It's exhausting. Wife says, I have to go to the restroom. All right. She goes to the restroom. I stand outside the women's restroom waiting for her. It's exhausting. People think it won't happen to them. 1,100 child abductions in U.S. every day. Not a single one of those parents woke up that morning thinking their child would be abducted. That's exactly my point. Nobody thought that it was going to be them. And that's the way and that's where our normalcy bias comes in. We never think it's going to be us until it's us. Then it's why didn't you? Yeah, I'm telling you, why didn't you? Brother Chris, that point right there is another big one. Get in, get out. Oh, wow, look at no, we're not wowing anything. There's no sham wowing here. We're going to get what we get. What's on the list is what we're getting, and then we're leaving. Because, see, I memorized the store, so I know we're going to go into the store, we're going to hit this first, this, and then we're headed out the door. We're not wandering around. We're not circling the store 5 times. We're not doing that. Get in, get out, get home. And when I mean home, I mean even how you get home is important. You know, a lot of sisters, y'all pull up, you check the mail, you sit in the driveway while you're rumbling through the you know what you got. Get this stuff in the house and get yourself secure in the house. The whole point is you need to be secure. You're not secure in your vehicle. You're secure in your home. At least you got that going for you. Brothers, buying your rib a firearm don't do no good if you don't know how to shoot it. It's amazing how many brothers will buy their rib a firearm and she can't rack a slide. It's amazing how many men will buy their wife a firearm that she can't effectively shoot, but they buy it for her because, well, 45 is a man stopper. So I'm gonna give you a 45 plus P plus. Because I shoot a 45 plus P plus out of my arm, and I can. And she can't even control a 9. Or you get her a revolver, and you haven't tested her to see that she can't even handle a revolver. You got her a 6-shot, snub nose barrel. She can't get one of those bullets on target. It's simple. Most modern women can't do what you're saying because they have anxiety issues. Yes. Yes. These are simple things that you can teach your sister, your rib. Simple things. That's right, Brother Gary. A 380 through the heart is way more effective than a 45 in the glove box. Mother Elaine said it. Teach your wives and kids some street rumble skills. Teach them, stop teaching them that you're going to be the superhero that's going to come flying through the wall. You may want to teach her where something happens and you're not there. Brother Kid said, hammerless J-frame with a 38 special. I know dudes who can't handle that. There's so much to consider. When, you know, like for instance, my ribs all carry the same firearm when they're on the property. They all have the Taurus G2C. I like the mag interchangeability. They can all handle it. They can all fire. But I do not like the idea of buying them each individual firearms and there's no mag, I call it regularity. I don't like that. One's got a Ruger EC9, one's got a Taurus G2C, and one's got a Beretta Tomcat 32. I don't like that. I want them to carry all the same thing. And Brother Ronnie, my rib has the same one. I like the firearm. I even have one. Now, I don't carry one. That's not my carry pistol, but I have one. I like the idea of the mag interchangeability. I've tested it. I've put it through its paces. It's a quality firearm. It's something that I could afford to arm them with and not having to go $2,000 in the debt doing it. Like I like the Springfield, the Hellcat, but I'm not dropping $500. Not doing it. Pagan time. You know what? I'm gonna spray paint the Taurus symbol off. I just switched from a 38 to a 1911 9mm. My wife now carries a 38 with Hallows. Brothers. It's so amazing how many brothers have gotten their rib a firearm and that their wives have no clue. They don't even know what comes first. You pull the trigger first. You rack the slide. Oh, I can't rack the slide. So then how do I put the bullet into the chamber without racking the slide? But Brother Ronnie, That's what I did. I looked for a firearm that was in my price range that I could arm them with. That got good reviews. No, Sister Colleen said it. No one's coming to save you. But Chris said, I bought the new one. Is it the G3C? Did you get the $25 rebate? It's getting terrible. And the salute, I'm not advocating you go out there and be Rambo. I'm advocating all of us get home to our family. Wives, you get home to your family. Husbands, you get home to your family. And then once you're there, you put the food back. You store the water. You have water catchment, water filtration, a way to get clean water. You grow food. It's simple. All this extra stuff is just extra stuff. That's it. Oh, yes, I have the G3C. I like the G3C. I like it a lot. My wife carries a Smith & Wesson Shield 9. She prefers the G19, but she's too small to conceal it. Ah, yes. Blessings, Brother David. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I love you, brother. Shabbat shalom. See, there's a lot of things that, again, I don't like talking about because there's a lot of people that talk about that sort of stuff. I'm more of a practical person. I tend to go practicality over name brand stuff. That's how I roll. So I chose what was practical for my family. I chose, my plan is what's practical for my family. What I carry is what's practical for me and my application. You have 5 G2Cs, brother. I have I have 4. Well, that's not even the one that I carry. That's not the one that I carry. I like something a lot smaller. Now I did get the PSA dagger, and I'm gonna try that one out. I'm gonna try the dagger out, but I really like the Taurus. I really like the Taurus. And then I have my, I used to be a big 40 fan. I'm still a big 40 fan. The Springfield XBM 40. I still have that. I like that a lot, but I wanted something that had a bit more capacity. I wanted something with a bit more capacity. But either way, whether it's a 12 gauge, whether it's a, pistol carbine, 9, 40, 45, 10 millimeter, whatever it is, you have to be able to deploy it accurately. And I don't like talking about guns this much, but I'm talking about it because you see what's happening out there in this world. We see what's happening out there in this world. And it's sad. But it should not alarm us, being Yah's people. We should be aware of these things and know the moves to take. And they're simple moves. There it is, Sister Colleen. Sister Mother Land. Play out a home invasion scenarios with your family. It gives you a good idea where to hide a weapon throughout the whole house. Also, it'll give you a great idea of where you want your children. Playing out these scenarios, playing out a scenario on your land, playing out a scenario in your house, playing out these scenarios will give you a great indicator of where is the correct position for your children to be. That's right, Brother Gary. That's right. And that's why I don't shoot my 40 very much. I still like my 40. I still like it. I like 10 millimeter too. But I've made my transition to 9. I made it. And plus, I don't really like buying a pistol caliber that costs as much for 1,000 rounds as a rifle caliber does. That's just ridiculous. Brother Chris? Brother Chris. I feel you, brother. I feel you. So can we all agree in drawing this to a close? Yah's important, and I know I didn't pull out verse and chapter. You know, we have those streams and we have these streams. But one of the things that's important for us as Yah's people, as men of Yah, and as protectors of our homes, is to put our families in a position to survive. That's one of our responsibilities. I don't see men in the Bible sacrificing their family. I don't see men in the Bible not taking care of and protecting their family. Men went to war over them. Look at what Jacob did over his daughter, with Dinah. Look at what he did. The world's wicked. And the wicked are having their opportunity to thrive. They are doing the most right now. Yah has given us the wisdom to make the moves that are needed to protect ourselves. Because as this system falls, more and more in the system are going to have to turn to the system. And that's in the faith and out of the faith. They're going to be turning to this system. We have a responsibility. And I'm only hoping that this wakes somebody up. In this whole situation that we are seeing on this earth, I hope somebody wakes up and says, man, let me store an extra 100 pounds of rice. Let me store an extra 50 pounds of wheat. Let me go out there and get an extra 200 pounds of oatmeal. You know what? I need some more brass and lead when it's combined. I need some more bullets. I need to maybe take my wife, children. If you got adult children or teenage children, and they're part of that plan, teach them. We have been so neglectful in how we are handling our families, and the world doesn't care. If something happens to your family, brothers, if something happens to your wife while she's out there, they're going to say sorry. You're going to have a little memorial put up with some candles burned, and everyone's going to say that they feel sorry for you, but how are you going to feel knowing that you didn't do the job? I often wonder, since it's not murder when someone is trying to kill you, is it also not theft when someone's trying to kill you? That makes spoils of war, does it not? Put the food back, as Brother Chris F said, stack it to the rafters. That little space you got underneath your bed, it can hold a couple buckets of food. It can hold a couple bags of rice. We just opened up a bucket. Where's that bucket at? The parboiled rice? Now, Ebony, when did I store this bucket? The parboiled? Yeah, that one. So I stored it. Thank you. I stored this bucket in 2018. Let me show you how I stored it. This is Sterling cube cut apple filling. You can buy these buckets. I did a video on it at donut shops. Donut shops get a lot of their fillings or their custards in buckets. And if you go there and ask them, they'll give them to you. I think I bought like 25 of them with the lids for like, I think it was like $8. Now, this was, of course, 2017, I think it was. This is how I stored it. It's got parboiled rice in it. And we've been eating it. Have you tasted any difference in this rice? Tastes like regular rice? Regular rice. Here's how it's now. I would not advocate storing it this way. I would advocate doing it, doing a little bit more than I did. But that's all I used. I didn't use a bag. I just put a lid. I didn't even put DE in this. I put it in a bucket with a lid. It doesn't even have a gasket. Bucket, lid, and they just opened it from 2018, and it tastes perfectly fine. I didn't know, people say keep it in a cool place. I didn't do that either. It wasn't a hot place. Just fine. What I'm trying to show you that is that you've got to put back food. Store it. Store lots of it. Store as much as you can store. You want to talk about a great investment? Now, I'm not giving you money advice, but a great investment. If you buy, I was talking to my daughter about this. She's 12. But I said, if you bought 100 bags of rice for $10, and then in a month it goes up to $11, you just saved $100. She was like, wow, that's right. It's just that simple. I said, a great way of storing wealth is silver, it's gold, it's, precious metals, including ammunition. I believe it's a precious metal. But what about food? If nothing happens in this world, nothing happens, then you just saved a ton of money. But if something does happen, and you're that person who's sitting on, a bank account full of numbers, but you can't get the food, or better yet, you were sitting on a bank account full of numbers, but as inflation continued to eat up what you had in the bank account, you could have transferred those ones and zeros into rice and beans and wheat and canned meats and land and chickens and goats and cows and quail and lumber and block and all sorts of things. And instead, you're still sitting on numbers that aren't worth what they were at one point in time. You're going to be hurt. And now the exchange rate for that 25-pound bag of rice is no longer $10.50. It's now $20 for that same bag. And you've already been getting destroyed because you're now paying $7 and $8 and $9 and $10 a gallon for gas. And your electric bill went from $200 to $500. And your propane costs went from whatever you were paying, bulk propane, let's say $2.25 a gallon to $5 a gallon. And all your money is gone, it's all evaporated. Then you'll start thinking, man, I didn't have to be in this position. But it's too late. That's right, Palmetto Paratrooper. The same can be said about youth. If you waste it, the same work costs more later. And the toll is higher on your body. It's just higher. You can still get chickens right now. You can still go and buy chicken. You can still go and find food. It's still on the shelves. Yeah, I invested in the Federal Reserve. It's not good no more. It's not good no more. All these bonds. And did you hear Canada lost internet service today? No one could use their cards except at ATMs. Cash only signs everywhere. I did a scenario about that, I believe, Brother Ken. Thank you for sharing, Brother Ken, and thank you for that offering. I'm blessed, brother, and I'm humble. I am extremely humble, brother. Thank you. I did a scenario video about that. I believe I did. I was going to do it. Those are going to be coming back. I got some more scenarios I want to talk about. But what happens if you take your ATM card one day? Because so many things could affect banking. It could be an EMP. It could just be an internet outage. It could just be your bank has an outage. And you're got all your money stacked up in that bank, and you go one day to try and slide that card, and nothing happens. You can get hacked. You can get what do they call it when they steal your money off the internet? Scammed. There's a specific name for that thing. What is that scam? Scam works. Scammed on the internet. and your account is locked. How many of you have ever tried to go and spend some money and found out you had a limit? That was the most annoying shit. You try to buy something, and it says sorry, your card, contact your bank. I'm like, no, I'm not contacting my bank. I'm going to spend money right now. Try to do it again. No, you can't spend money. What? You call your bank. Oh yes, we're sorry, Mr. Johnson. You have a $1,000 spending limit. Wait, on my own money? Well, I need to buy something that's going to cost $2,500. Oh, well, we're going to have to talk to the bank manager to see if we can increase your limit. Wait, we're going to see? We're going to see if you can increase my limit? What do you mean, see? You have the money. I want to use it. But can we ask you, what are you using it for? No, you can't ask me what am I using it for. It's my money. Why do I have a limit? Did I ever agree to a limit? Well, it's for your own protection. I don't need you to protect it. Oh, shoot. Yes, I do. Because I have it in your bank. Yep, Brother Gary said, yep, I was buying a log splitter and my bank refused to charge. Brother, I had something very similar that happened to me. And I was sitting there like, what happened to I can look at my account like, why can't I make this? What is going on? Try to make it again, rejected. What? This is, all right, I guess I'm going to call my bank. Call the bank. You have a limit. Well, I want the limit taken off. Well, we can't do that, sir, but we can give you a one-time limit extension for today. Where are you going to be spending that money at? Wait a minute. What is that? I don't want to tell you. I just want to spend it. You're going to find out because I'm using my card. Yeah, but we want to make sure that we only open up that money to be used at that place. What? Guess what happened? I'm not playing that game though. I won't play that game. But too many are still willing to play that game. And you find out, I saw one of the brothers, was a brother was on the system. Chris F said, I know we're not supposed to be part of the system in the US, but it's time for revolution, Israelite or not. I actually, Sister Colleen, I do have sorghum. I just haven't grown it. That's another mistake I made. Nothing like trying to spend your own money you can't. So, again, that's just another part of that system that you need to come out of. And your money's not doing you any good sitting there. It's not doing any good sitting in that bank. I know I'm not changing. I'm not telling you to spend your money. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm telling you that's an area that we have seen, that I have seen personally, that I have gotten a good return out of. I've gotten a good return out of it. And I used to buy bread from the store. And now we make our own bread. But I remember we were storing wheat. And we were at the store one day. And I just felt an unction, like the Holy Spirit was like, read the back. I was at Walmart, and read the back of that great value bread. I was like, okay, I'll look at the ingredients. I look at the ingredients, and it says, made with bioengineered foods. I was like, bioengineered? I'm not eating that no more. Then I looked at the back of my, what were we eating? I used to buy those tortilla chips from Walmart, the Great Value brand, made with bioengineered foods or ingredients. Come to find out that almost anything made with wheat that's Great Value branded, made with bioengineered food. So I cut that out of what we purchased. Of course, that's the cheapest thing. That bread is $1. Well, it was 94 cents, 91 cents, 89 cents at the time I was buying it. Yeah, you did, but so now I'm sitting here like, well, we're gonna make now. mind you, we had already had wheat, so making the bread was only the hardest thing. But it was so frustrating that, and I was sitting there like, Father, how long was I eating bioengineered food? I mean, do we? In fact, Ebony, Tanisha, come here. What other things that we were we buying from Walmart that was great value that was made with bioengineered food? The teriyaki sauce. Their teriyaki sauce was made with teriyaki sauce was made with bioengineered food. Soy sauce, but we weren't really eating that. It didn't have it. The sweet and sour did. Sweet and sour had it. Their chips had it. All their cereals had it. The bread, the tortillas, there was something else that had it. I was blown. Ebony, what else that had the was made with bioengineered food? Some of their salad dressings made with bioengineered food. You know when we were looking at the back of the back of all the packages? Basically, everything great value is made with bioengineered food. And as Brother Chris said, that proves they're the master. So while people, I'm not going to eat, Soylent Green, or I'm not going to eat roaches like the movie Snowpiercer, or I'm not going to be eating these ground up roaches. Many people, while it's not those things, we are still eating things that are bioengineered, and we're okay with that. Okay, sister Amanda, I will have them do a video on sandwich bread. I found that very trooper. Well, some of y'all know me pretty well. I said we're gonna stop at we're only gonna go to 2:15. 2:15. Oh, Sister Amanda called me out. Oh gosh. Huh? I said today, I said I'm not doing a live stream today. I just don't have it in me. See, y'all bring up the life out of me. There he is. It's actually y'all. Y'all bring that out of me. Thank you. Bioengineered is clean, right? See, there's the thing, Brother Chris says. I don't know. Because I don't know what bioengineered consists with them. Because there's so much splicing now, and they're splicing things now with unclean foods. Brother Alex, I'm good. We continue to go. So I've been doing some research on bioengineering, and it's very vague, but they're splicing a lot of animal, I don't even call it genes or animal byproducts in that. Oh God. Oh God. Whatever. Oh God. Yes, the ice cream is too. And Sister Lisa McKinney said, mad scientists creating fake foods. And the biggest problem is that, like, who would have ever thought that they were using beaver glands to make food color? Huh? And yeah, and it's a vanilla extract. Certain vanilla, is it the imitation ones? And the imitation vanilla extract. So a lot of these companies are not. We ate great value bread. Look at the back of that package, Brother Alex, and the bottom it'll say made with bioengineered foods. So I don't know, and that's the thing. That's the thing that's scariest to me is that we're getting to a point now where the only way to know for a fact you're eating clean is to grow it or raise it yourself, which is going to cut down on the amount of things that we actually eat, which may actually be a good thing. All those extra things that we eat today, we may not be eating because there's so much bioengineered food. And I don't know what they're putting in the bioengineered food because they won't be forthcoming and just tell you. Like the FDA makes it where they only have to label certain things. If there's not more than a certain percentage, they don't have to list it. And I know that with bioengineered, they're using a lot of unclean animals now in that stuff. Oh, brother Kevin said he's smoking a cigar and enjoying his whiskey. Oh, there it is, Brother Chris, and that's what I believe, Brother Chris, right there. A frog in a pot. We're slowly eating and accepting these foods. That's really what I'm getting at, Brother Chris, and you said it right there. They're getting us to a point that we're going to be eating anything and not care. You're going to be eating beaver butt glands, the pig penis, pig sweat. I don't know. We're going to call it okay because we don't really know what we're eating. We don't really know. Just think about on the back of a package. How many of those ingredients in the back of that package can you actually pronounce? And how many of you actually know what it actually is? So we could be getting to a point. I don't know if y'all heard that Bill Gates, he bought, was it land in South Dakota, I think it was? He won his lawsuit in South Dakota to get 1,500 more prime farmland acres. It was just on the Drudge Report this week. He won his lawsuit. So he can go ahead and buy 1,500 more. I think it was South Dakota, North Dakota, one of those two. 1,500 prime farmland. And Sister Lisa's right. That's why Gates has all that farmland. Pretty soon, we're going to be eating unclean if we're not careful, and we're not going to actually know that we're eating unclean. How do we know that person packaging has an issue? Oh, that's Sister Priscilla. Whoa! How do we know that person packaging that food is not having an issue of blood? Or if you're a man, a bodily discharge that would make him unclean. How do you know that? How do you know they washed their hands after they went to the bathroom to change the absorbent fabric thing that was absorbing that blood? We're in a scary time if you are really trying, not scary, but we're in a very interesting time if you're trying to keep Yah's law. I don't like the idea of eating and ingesting bioengineered foods. So we cut it out. I tried to find out what that meant, and they weren't very forthcoming with what it meant. These billionaires are going to buy all that farmland and not plant it on purpose. I absolutely agree. Which means when that happens, Palmetto, where does that leave us? Boys. Where does that leave us? I just said boys. I just said boys. Are you just going to keep making noise? Yeah, drink that water. Look at that. Look what Brother Gary said. Commercial hamburger is often injected with blood to add weight. Very unclean. 90% of people who work in the food industry do not wash their hands after going to the bathroom. That's why I don't eat out. And that's another reason why I don't eat out. Eating grasshoppers. How do we know that they're not putting any old thing in that device that chews up and creates what we call flour or bread? It's not that the engineering is bad. It's what they're crossing engineering and pairing with. That's what I meant, Sister New World. Thank you for correcting me. They're crossing it with things to make it more disease resistant, to make it, it's kind of like adding steroids to your chicken. Instead of getting your normal 6-7 pound chicken. You're getting chickens that weigh 200. Okay, I'm exaggerating. 10-pound chickens. What are they injecting those chickens with? We don't know. What are they crossing in the engineering process with that wheat? We don't know. We don't know. You don't know. Right? Natural flavoring can easily be aborted fetus part. Easily. It's natural. And that's where, this is why it's becoming so simple for us. Literally, we're at a point where you can see the lines that are dividing. Some kind of don't care, but see, they're doing enough where if you care but can't afford it, you can only care so much. If you can't afford to pay, actually, every sister, and I would implore every sister, I would challenge every sister with the permission of your husbands, if you're married, learn to make bread. Learn to make a loaf of bread. And try it with different things. Try using it with wheat. Try using it with some ground oatmeal. Make some oatmeal flour. Make some amaranth flour. Grind some flax seeds and throw some flax seeds in there. Experiment with it. Experiment with this food. Experiment with making a food that you like. Instead of us going out and buying cream of wheat, cream of rice, and grits, they make their own now. They know how to make their own porridge-like, high-density, highly nutritious food for breakfast that is awesome. I said, lentil flour. That's interesting. Lentil flour. Just Priscilla lentil flour. We're going to try it. You got lentils. Thank you. Rice. We've done rice flour. We've done rice flour. Brother Chris F. said it's part of coming out. That's it. It all comes down to growing our own food to be sure it's clean. We grow our own food to be sure it's clean. That is part of the process of coming out. These boys are just in here, It's part of that process. I know it's tedious. It is tedious. Coming out is actually a tedious process. The fact that I've had to, we haven't eaten out in I don't know how long, decades, at least, because we don't know what's in the food. Well, we have eaten out a couple times. We didn't pay. Dandelion. I've heard of dandelion flour. Actually, didn't Tanisha make Jerusalem artichoke flour? We made Jerusalem artichoke flour. She dehydrated the Jerusalem artichokes, then ran it through the grinder and made flour out of it. Even make sprouted grain flour. I've used wheatgrass flour. I never heard of that. A Rude Awakening has a great series on making bread from wheat berries. Oh, wait. Going on now. I'm a Rude Awakening. I'm gonna go look at his channel. Pancakes made of buckwheat flour are delicious. It's time. We've made acorn flour. We gathered acorns off the tree. We roasted them. We pulled off the outer layer, and then we grounded them, and it was great. Okay, but I'm doing a live stream. Okay, yes, Dad. Thank you. Okay. Amaranth flour has been used in North America for hundreds of years. Yes, sir. And that's why we're going heavy in amaranth. We're growing a large area of amaranth. But the reality of it is that, brothers and sisters, we don't know. So we could be eating unclean and not know it. We could be eating foods that aren't foods and not know it. And we can't figure out why our bodies are turning against us. And I believe that Yah opens up the door for us to understand. He gives us the opportunity to do the research. He allows people to say something that pricks our ears and says, maybe I'll do the research so that we know. Because wouldn't it be terrible if here you are eating bioengineered food as I was, and it's crossbred or cross-engineered with, I don't know, rat DNA, so it reproduces faster. And we know they'll do it. I mean, they're over here talking about insect foods now. Ground insects into food for a protein punch. I'm still tripping. I saw plant plant-based chicken nuggets, and I was like, wait a minute, how do you have a plant-based chicken nugget? If it's a plant, it can't be chicken. So how do you have a plant-based chicken nugget? Any ideas? I think I'm missing something. Swine in my well, I wonder what book that might have been, Brother Alec. I wonder. It's really getting simple for us. If you don't grow it, you don't raise it, you haven't bartered with it or bought it from somebody and you know is not I'm gonna call it infecting it with unclean food, you really are at the mercy. And do you really want to be? For those of us in this space who keep Yah's law, do you really want to be at the mercy, honestly, of Bill Gates? Do you really want to be at the mercy of Bill Gates? Ebony, you want to check that out? Thank you. It might just be low oil. I mean, do you want to be at the mercy of these corporation presidents who are always trying to cut costs and find a cheaper way to feed you? I don't. I do not want to be at their mercy. I don't want to be at their. I don't want to trust them for whether I could actually be in sin or not. Brother, pound PP, you saying something? You saying something? I do not want to be at these people's mercy. Nobody's mercy, as Pamela Paratrooper said. No man. So that means we have something to do, and it's very simple. Again, food, water, shelter. So the Apocrypha says, food, water, shelter. And then I get another verse that gives you something, salt, honey, milk, iron, fire. Things are getting really, really simple. Can you make fire? How about this? Less of a question is, can you make fire? Here's more of a question. Are you in an area where you can have a fire without the fire department coming out, your homeowners association trying to run you out, you being fined? How about that? Can you go outside and start a fire and cook some food or bake some bread if your gas went out, if your propane went out, if your electric burner, your electric stove went out? Could you go outside and start a fire and cook on it without drawing the ire of everyone around you? Could you cook and have that smell of your food go up without everybody in the neighborhood knowing you're cooking? Just questions. Just questions. Because if not, you may want to get to know somebody where that possibility may be realistic. That's a big one. Are you able to stay in place for 6 months? That's a huge one. Palmetto Paratrooper, yes, I have heard of those. But brother, how many people do you think know or will do the research of what a Dakota fire pit is? I didn't know you put it under a cedar tree. I didn't know that part. If you don't know, Y'all should look what paratroopers set up. I'm gonna look it up. Are y'all able to stay in place for 6 months? How about 3 months? And I'm talking about where you are right now, where you are in life right now. Are you able? Oh, the cedar boughs dissipate the smoke. Now that makes sense. Are you able to shelter in place for 3 months? And that means if I used to watch Main Prepper. I used to like him when he was doing videos. Oh God, what is going on? Can you stay in place for 2 to 3 months? And that's really a simple question. That means you're not going to work. That means you're not going out to the grocery store. Could you right now close your gate and stay in for 3 months? 2 months. 1 month. Could you do it? Because that's really where we need to go and we have to get to. And for many people who, the zombie plague, we did it. We just closed the gate and we just stayed here. But all of us have to get to a place where we can be. That's where you come out. Get them together, please. Someone's running in here with a couple cars and tripped and fell. We could probably make it 3 months, but nobody's going to enjoy it. I mean, that's it may not be enjoyable, but could you do it? Could you do it? How about could you stay 3 months on your property if they shut off your water and your power? How that? Something happened and the power goes out and the water goes out. Could you survive on your property for 3 months? I mean, a bad tornado can do that. Woo, so that's the truth. I don't want to be at anyone's mercy, especially Bill Gates either. So these are some tough questions. But with what we're seeing take place, if the violence hits an area that you're in, especially if you're in a city, water is the hardest part, sister. That is the hardest part. I wrote out 21 days of menu for 3 meals and a snack and store according to that. These old paths that the Bible says that we don't want to do are the old paths that we're going to have to get back. That's where we're going to find safety. And the reality of it is, we can do it. I'm in with this. I was talking to the sister, and I said, in reality today, we have no excuse for our deficiencies as people. When I was in high school, I graduated high school in 2000. We just got the internet. I'm talking like we got the dial-up noises. You couldn't use the phone and be at the internet at the same time. I'm talking back then. Nowadays, people walk around with cell phones. I'm talking about back in the day. When I first got my first cell phone, it was like 200 minutes or 500 minutes for like $80. And then you waited until the night and the weekends, after 8 o'clock. Actually, it was after 9 o'clock when I first had my phone. And then later on, it was 7 o'clock. And then you could pay a little bit extra and have it be 6 o'clock. In the weekends, yes, you've got mail. AOL, yes, you've got mail. That's what I remember the internet. Now we have an unlimited amount of information at our fingertips. And I think that's kind of hurt us. I remember doing book reports in high school. And you had to actually go to the library. I remember using a microfiche. I remember having to go to the index chart on the card and then finding out where it's in the category, where it's categorized. and then going and looking it up. I remember checking out 5, 10 books and having to cite the sources and do it in alphabetical order and cite them properly. Now everything's just the internet. So you don't really have to put in the work to get the research, which has been a blessing for those that use it right, but it's also been a curse because we've been able to access so much of the wrong information. Just as much as there's right information at our fingertips, there's wrong information at our fingertips. There are people that will tell you that you have to give them your stuff in order to serve Yah. At the simple life, grateful wife, shalom, sister. Bless you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The Dewey Decimal System, that was it. Annotated bibliographies were they were such a pain. So we have all this information. We have the ability for us to do this. But in a way, it's also been a detriment. Because there's so much bad information now on the internet. There's so many lies. There's so many, there's just so much. There's stuff that you would not have access to. One way it's very nice to be able to go and order something online and it's delivered right to your door. But it's also been a detriment. And one day these conveniences might stop. Let's just say one of these delivery services decides it's not worth it for us anymore to deliver your packages to your front door. It costs too much fuel. I don't know. But we have to be ready for things that we never imagined would happen. We never imagined some of these things would happen. What's going to happen if the internet, something happens like it did in Canada? All these guys that are internet gamers now have to go into a society and mingle. All these guys that spend their days, their hours. I mean, I was reading an article that said that the average American, I think, spends less than, I think it was 10 hours a day, not in front of a screen. The average American spends 14 hours of their day in front of a screen in one form or another. Television, tablet, cell phone, TV, computer, the little watches now. They at 14 hours in front of a screen. And if that got taken away from your average person, how are they going to cope? That's right, Brother Ken. I remember they called it that, crackberry. I remember that. And Brother Alex, that's basically what it is that their time away from their tablet or the screen is basically sleep time. But outside of that, look at your average person. The average person wakes up in the morning and picks up their phone and Facebook. What happened on Facebook? Did somebody like my picture? Did somebody like my post? Did somebody like what I said? Twitter, Instagram, ChapSnap, all those other, all that. And if that stuff turned off for them, they would go mad. And if you actually think about it, it's a very fragile system because people are one EMP, one not paying their cell phone bill, one, but even then you can go to McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi, one bad storm away from not being able to have that thing that they spend more than half their time in front of, their screens. What would people and how would people react? I do it, but I'm checking YouTube to see if you posted something. I'm honored, brother. I am extremely honored. Crazy, my teenagers were not happy when our power was out for a week. Three days. I'm a big advocate of, like, even when I do Bible studies with the family, I don't like them using their phone. I know I like my sword. I like eSword. They're great. We use them for study references and we're looking at specific words, but I don't like it when they read the scriptures on it. People went crazy this week when AT&T went down here. Wow. Yeah, think about that. It may not even be you didn't pay a cell phone bill. It could be simply Verizon goes down. There's a cyber attack on one of these main, phone companies. People are getting a huge percentage of their dopamine released from electronics. They get legit depression without it, brother. Yes, I was reading or watching a documentary on people that literally had to go to counseling because of Facebook. Facebook, not even the internet, just one particular site, Facebook. Well, that whole metaverse they have now. There are people already showing signs that they are not going to be able to cope without it. So this is simple for us. Use the tools that we have. Use your cell phone. But we have to start using these things. And then I'll speak for myself. I'm using it less and less and less for entertainment and more for information. I'm taking notes. I'm getting hard copies down. If I have to print it, I'll print it. If I have to write it out, I write it out because I want a copy, a hard copy of it. Just like many people today can't get from point A to point B without MapQuest or, Google Maps. How many people today know how to read a map? How about a topographical map? How many people can read that? How many people actually know which way north, east, south, and west are by looking at the sun? Most people don't know how to do that. Bless you, brother Alex. Shabbat shalom, my brother. He's going to try not to be depressed. Most people don't even know how to look up and see a storm and know which direction it's going in. They have to look at their phone like, okay, it says it's going that way. Well, if I hold my phone up, it says it's going that way. That's wrong because the storm's actually going opposite direction. Oh, turn my phone around. It's sad. We've got to learn some skills. Because imagine, this might be a scenario video I do, maybe this week. I'm going to give you all a heads up. You're driving on the road and you're relying on your phone. And bam, you lose all service. Not just all service, but the map on your phones that you download, those are gone too. Your phone had a catastrophic error and you were relying on it. Do you even know how to get from where you are to where your location is? And if you say yes, well, do you even have a map in your car to get there? You have an area map with updated freeways and roads. This is stuff that I think about. I don't have a phone. Sister Priscilla, I actually, envy you. Because even I find out within myself sometimes, like, I'm really dependent on my phone. Because it is so easy to go on your phone and go to samscope.com, walmart.com, amazon.com, ammoman.com, palmettostatearmory.com, chewy.com. It's just so easy. .com. See, Sister Priscilla, that right there. Most people didn't even know you can get area maps for your DMV. And Brother Chris, it all comes down to come out of her. Laminated truckers atlases are worth the cost. That I didn't see now. Thank you, Brother J. Moore, for saying that. Because I'm gonna look that up and purchase. I taught myself how to use a compass on a topographical map. How many people even know how to use a compass? Why is this thing? Why is it that when I turn it, it keeps pointing in the same direction? Shouldn't it turn with it? I had somebody tell me that they know how to read a compass. Their phone has one. And I was like, your phone has a compass? What happens if your phone goes out? Oh yeah. I'm just saying, it really is simple. But we've complicated it a lot, and we've made ourselves extremely dependent. And I'm not saying you can't use, or you should, sure, Google Maps is nice, but you should also uh, uh, know how to. In fact, Natavia, come here. Natavia, I saw Sister Amanda. I saw what you said there. Where's she? Okay. Hold on 1 second. They want to draw so close. Natavia, go in there and give me those books that I had you read. My daughter likes reading a lot. A lot. So I had her read some interesting books. And she loves reading. Loves reading. Take that one. So I had her read book 1. You enjoy this book? She really liked this book. 1 second after. Then I had her read, which was one of my favorite books, Lights Out by David Crawford. If you want a good read, I love this book. It's like 1 second after, but I think it's better. That's my personal opinion. I like it better. Which one do you like better? She liked this one better too. 1 second after. Lights Out. Very good book. Now she's reading the series. And she really enjoys reading these books. Huh? Which was that one? Oh, the other. Oh, and she has Survivors from James Bessie Walls. She has Survivors up in the loft. She enjoys reading those books. Now, why do I have her reading those books? One, I had her read some like Little House on the Prairie books, and she read those books and started doing some of the things that they talked about in that book. And it worked. And I realized, man, my daughter's a sponge. She reads the Bible, loves reading the Bible, and she'll read that to the children. She'll read that to all her siblings and read it with them. But these books I have her read personally because she's old enough to understand some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff. But it causes conversation between me and my daughter, where she brings me questions like, well, Daddy, if this happens, what's our plan? And our plan is this. And our plan is this. And then if this happens, well, and this and this. So she's learning. She's learning. I don't want my daughter to be a victim. And these are, I believe, great resources to at least get their mind thinking. A lot of grown-up people cannot handle those books, let alone children. Matt Brockton's Enemies trilogy is superb too. All right. Matt Brack. You can write down Matt Brack. Matt, Brackens. Brackens. And she loves these books now. Loves them. Oh, Lights Out is by David Crawford. By David Crawford. So when I'm not studying the Bible, Matt Brack. I said Matt, right? Yeah, Matt Brack. Brackens. Brack. . . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . So these are things that you can teach your children. And these are things that they used to teach children back in the day. That children knew. They knew how to start a fire. They knew how to cook. They knew how to clean. They knew how to sew. They know how to read a map. They knew how to actually shoot a firearm. Read and use a compass. Today, children know how to sit in front of a TV. They can explain to you how to beat the boss of the newest Mario Brothers game. But they can't read a book. They can't sit down long enough. They're like, I need my controller. No, sit down and read a book. Hey, sit down. I'm gonna read the Bible to you. It's not this complicated. It really should be simple. Ooh, my daughter, she was shooting. We were sighting in her 22, and come behind the camera. Did you enjoy that?
Yes.
Jesus. But she was sighting in her 22, and then I had her, put some on paper first, make sure I was zeroed, and then she went after the gong. And how did it feel to hear that ping, ping, ping when you were shooting?
It was fun. It was fun. Dad kept telling me, "Keep your earmuffs on." I'm like, I gotta hear it go.
I had to tell her to keep her earmuffs on because she wanted to keep hearing the ping. I'm like, you can hear the ping. Just shoot. And she did. And she came and she had the biggest smile on her face. And I mean, she knows the safety. She knows how to load it, unload it, what to do if there's a jam, what to do if there's a failure to fire or a failure to extract. She knows all that. And I enjoy teaching her. This is why homeschooling is just way better than schooling. Anyways, thank you for that, Matt Brackens. I'm gonna look that up. There's a website that I use. It's thriftybooks.com. Please look at Apple Sabbath. But they get a lot of library copy books. All these were library copy books with no writing in them, and you're paying, instead of paying $25 for a book, you're paying $5, $4. Thriftybooks.com. Excellent source. You can get textbooks there. You can get reading material. You can get coloring. You can do almost anything on that website. Just in case you were interested in where I get mine from. But it's been a blessing talking with y'all. It's been a blessing fellowshipping with y'all. Again, this has everything to do with Yah. Because part of this is men preparing your households and getting your household ready. Storing, preparing. It's great that your children know verses. It's great that your children know the law. But it's amazing how many children know the law but don't know how to make a loaf of bread. It's amazing how many children know how to pray the most glamorous prayer but can't cook. It's amazing how many daughters can tell you what the Bible says about Melchizedek, but can't tell you how to submit to your future husband. It's amazing. We have a responsibility to teach our children, to raise them up in the ways of Yah, and to let them see it functionally so that they understand. Remember when Moses came to the land to Jethro, remember it was his daughters that were tending to the sheep. How many daughters know how to take care of animals today? Bible says in Jasher that Rachel actually tended the sheep. You gotta teach your children right. And this stuff is really not that complicated. It is really, really simple. We've got to stop complicating our lives. We've got to stop making things so damn hard for ourselves. Times are getting more complicated, and they're getting worse. Bless y'all. Thank y'all for being here. It was an honor. It was a blessing. Family's waiting for me now. Everyone's excited. Enjoy the Shabbat. Have a blessed Shabbat. Have a blessed day of rest. Because they watch your father do it. Whatever you do is what your children will learn to do. That is absolutely the truth. That is absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. Your daughters are going to follow their mothers, and they're going to want a man like you. Your sons are going to follow the father and want a wife just like their mom. Example. But that's why I was stopping. I'm stopping before I hit 3 hours. Bless y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Have a blessed day of rest. Please get some rest and try to stay cool. Those of y'all who are getting rain, I need some. Bless y'all. Shabbat Shalom. Praise Yah.